Welcome to our 2021 convocation. As I thought about what I wanted to say in the direction of the school district for this unprecedented school year, I thought about the word connect. So I want you all to think of the word connect. Think about what are some things that come to your mind when you hear the word connect. I had asked my daughter, who's 10 years old, I said, now when you hear the word connect, what comes to your mind? And she said, well, Mom, I think about people coming together that have a common interest. I said, okay, I raised her pretty good. And then she said, well, I also think about building a relationship with someone when I'm trying to connect with them. I said, oh, she is a genius. So I know she get it from her mom. So I'm sure that you all thought about the same things when you hear the word connect. Connect is so critical during these times. So we want our theme and our focus for this school year to be connect. So I want you to charge yourself with thinking about making a connection every day. Our vision, we are an inclusive learning community. So because we are a community, we are already interconnected. But within this community, we want to focus on three things in our community. We want to be able to inspire, we want to engage our families, and also we want to build trust in our community. We want to be able to say that every student have authentic choices beyond high school. And if these are our guiding principles, so in every decision that we make, these are 5 principles that we should always think about. This will ensure that we are connecting with our students, and we're connecting with the work, we're connecting with our community, stakeholders, and in everything that we do. So for this school year, 3 areas that we definitely want to focus in on when we talk about connect. We want to connect with our children. We want to be able to connect to our community. And then also we want to connect to college and career readiness. When we say connect to our children, we want to look at access for all, MTSS, which is our multi-tiered systems of support, and then also our trauma-informed trainings. Now, for the past couple of months, our focus really have been on access for all. We have deployed hundreds of hotspots to our families just to ensure that they have access to the internet. Also, we've been in collaboration with our service providers so that we can ensure in our rural areas that those families have access and the right connectivity when it comes to the internet. We want to ensure that all students can access our instruction through Zoom. We can meet with parents over Zoom or conference calls. However that we need to do, we need to make sure that students can connect with us and we can connect with them. Also, looking at our MTSS, we're really looking at a tiered system. In Tier 1, we're talking about differentiated instruction, where we're trying to meet the needs of all our students. And we figure about 80% of those students will grow in Tier 1 with our instruction. Then we have Tier 2. When we're connecting and getting to know our students, we realize some students need a little more help, support, intervention. So those students will be our Tier 2 students. And we're looking at those students in terms of what type of support do they need. And now we're looking at about 15% of those students, of our student population that will need some extra support. And then looking at tier 3, that's more of intensive support, that's more of one-on-one. And that's probably about 5% of our population. So it's very critical to connect with our students so that we would know their academic needs, behavior needs, their social and emotional learning needs. It's very critical within this framework that we're able to connect with our students. And so these are some frameworks that we will have more professional development on to ensure that we are supporting our students and we're meeting the needs of the whole child. So within the framework, we want to really be, we want to have prevention, and we want to be proactive versus reactive. So as we're looking at our 3 tiers, we really have to do a lot of formative assessments in our classroom so that we can know and gauge where our students are on a day-to-day basis with our work. This is one way in terms of how we can address the learning loss over these several months during this unprecedented time. Also, within these instructions, we also want to think about how are we reaching students when it comes to social emotional learning. That's where the trauma-informed trainings will come in. Through those trainings, we will give you strategies in terms of how you can embed the social emotional learning within your instruction to meet the needs of students. And then we want to look at how do we connect to our community. We have professional learning communities within our buildings. Then we have our collaborative learning community. And also we're looking at developing a K-5, a K-65 model as well. Within your professional learning communities, we want you to connect with each other. We also want you to be able to talk about embedding that social emotional learning within your instruction. That is so critical during this time, because if we don't meet the basic needs of students, it's going to be very hard for them to grow academically. And so we also want to think about how do we address the unfinished learning? How do we support and continue to push students so they can grow? So now in your POCs, you want to be able to prioritize standards. You know, where should you put your focus? What's important? So all of those things will come into your professional learning community. When we look at our collaborative learning community, that is when we have communities of students coming together. We have a community with our business partners, and we are conversating and getting feedback from those different stakeholders. And we want to be able to amplify their voices during these collaborative learning communities. We want to be able to definitely help them with their needs, as well as they help us as well to help students be successful. We want to also connect our families with outside resources. A lot of times what we have found is that families do not realize the different resources that are available to them. So our support staff during this time is so critical, because it's going to take our social workers, our psychologists, our school guidance counselors, everyone coming together to help our families tap into the different resources that are available to them. And then looking at our K-65 model, this is an approach where you have your education sector, we have the business sector, as well as the government. We're all coming together to support students from kindergarten all the way up into retirement. So what we're trying to do with this model is to ensure that we have students who can go into the local jobs and support the economy in our region. So within this model, we have some tiers that we're looking at. First is going to be the technology. We already are a one-to-world technology school system where everyone has a one-to-one device. We're also looking at this school year and beyond to have training for teachers, because it's very critical when we're trying to prepare students for future jobs. We want to make sure that our teachers have experience within the different industries so that they can have a better understanding in terms of how to prepare their lessons for students. And then the character education. When we think about character education, that goes back to our academic behaviors for our students, the soft skills for our students, and so forth. And then the work-based learning. We want to increase opportunities for students to have internships, apprenticeships, and just have the experience of different jobs. And so I think that is that's going to be a big key as we move forward. And then of course, future ready. We want students to be ready for the university, for the community college, ready for a job, or ready for the workforce, or even the military. So then, with all of this, ultimately we're going to connect to college and career readiness. One thing that we are embarking on this year is to expand our pre-K program, because we think that is so critical to ensure that our families have access to pre-K. Also, we want to align our career pathways and their credentials for all. And these things also play into our K-65 model. So when we think about college and career readiness, these are skills that students must have as they move forward and graduate from high school. Starting in kindergarten, we need to map out how does that look in kindergarten? How does that look in first grade, second grade, and on through up until 12th grade. We want to ensure that kids have the strategies, the knowledge, the skills, and then they are able to transition after high school. So this will be our framework as we move forward for college and career readiness. And then we have to have a future focus as we are trying to align our courses in middle school and high school, and then expose our students in elementary. We have to think about what are the top industries in our area? What are the top industries in North Carolina? What are the top industries in the United States? Because that's critical that we align our course offerings to those top industries. So here you can see these are the skills that our colleges and employers say. Those are the academic behaviors or those soft skills that are very critical that all students have. And then that would lead into the top industries that are in demand. And these are demand in the future for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And then also I have added here the top industries in our county. So everything that we do must lead up to future careers, to future industries, so that we can help our students be successful. So what we're trying to do here for this 21-22 school year, we definitely want to be able to connect. We want to connect with our children, connect to our community, and then connect to college and career readiness. That is so critical during these unprecedented times. Even though we may not be able to connect physically, we can connect through our hearts. Because ultimately, we want to be able to, together, we have the power to inspire, we have the power to connect, and we have the power to deliver on new opportunities and rich experiences that can open doors for our students. So I charge you with this. I want you to charge your own self with making a connection every day. Thank you, and God bless.